Thinking about buying a franchise? Don't go it alone. Just like a buyer's agent in real estate, you deserve someone who's on your side every step of the way. That's where Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, comes in. Todd's consulting services are completely free to anyone looking to buy a franchise. He'll represent your interest, make sure all your questions are answered, and walk you through the entire buying process. With Todd in your corner, you'll have the best chance for success from your first call to the day you hold the keys to your new business. So before you buy a franchise, talk to someone who knows the industry inside and out and works for you. Call Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, today at 423-381-0925 for a free, no-pressure consultation. That's 423-381-0925. Your future in franchising starts here. All right, here we go. Good afternoon and welcome to the Franchise Flashlights podcast series. My name is Todd Abraham. You're tuning in on franchiseradio.net. And as a person who is now 57 years old and one who does a comic strip, I dabble in some acrylic painting and love everything to do creative and colorful. I've got a fun guest with us today. Her name is Jen Gouldstone, which she just told me is actually a British last name. And in my failed efforts to do a British accent, I actually resorted to my Australian accent. So, Jen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me today.
Yep. So, Jen is the founder of Craft Loft. That's the website.com, craft-loft.com. And it is a really cool, fun, creative franchise, which involves both a storefront location and an event aspect to it. So, Jen, tell us a little bit about your background and what got you started into the Craft Loft era.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I was in tech. I was a software person by training, and I was in that career for almost 2 decades, so quite a while. But throughout that time, I actually was on the receiving end of a lot of corporate events, and I've always been kind of crafty on my own time as well. I would say when I turned 40, when I said maybe it's time to move off of the corporate conveyor belt, if you will,
That's a
and
good description.
kind of really do something on my own. And I've always loved plants, always loved to create. Um, so my first business, which was created in 2018, was in plant services for companies and buildings. We literally got paid to water plants, which was really fun until COVID hit in 2019. And we, during that time, pivoted to do virtual team building activities. Our very first one was succulent terrarium building, where we shipped out all the pieces to our attendees remotely, and then we'd hop on Zoom and build a terrarium together. It was really fun, and folks would keep asking for more and different things, and so we actually grew during COVID. And then throughout that time, our attendees would also ask if we had a brick and mortar location so they could come in and experience it in person with friends and family when COVID was over. So that really put the seed in my head as far as having a location goes, because in software, physical location is not really a thing. You just push a button and it's now live everywhere.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, exactly. So 2022, we started looking for locations and was able to find where we are now for our flagship store. And we're now searching for a location for our second corporate location too. So
So
exciting.
now tell
Yeah.
us where your primary location is.
We're in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So we're pretty close to Boston. We're right in the middle.
And you're in a mall though, right? Which mall?
We're correct. We're in the Cambridge Side Mall. We're on the second floor next to TJ Maxx.
Oh, that's a good store to be next to. Yeah, no
We
doubt. Because
actually
that's
have the best view in the mall, I believe. We have a full window looking out onto the canal there. So we're
well,
fortunate.
yeah, and location is definitely important in retail, but being close to TJ Maxx, I mean, that's a busy store. It's kind of like a Target or a lot of these lower, what I should say, lower cost, like clothing type home style good stores. And I know the one that's here locally. I'm in Southeast Tennessee. It stays pretty busy, and it's
Yeah.
located in the mall too.
Yeah. You know what I also love about Cambridge side is that we're really in the heart of Boston. If you're touring Boston, you're visiting Boston, you're gonna probably come to this location because we're across the street from the Museum of Science, which is really great. And so we get lots of families, we get visitors, and people would ask us actually, they say, "Is this your only location? Where else are you at?" And they'd come from different states. And that actually got us thinking about franchising too, because it's, easier to grow in your hometown, but once you start thinking across state borders, I think franchising became a much more obvious choice for us.
Right. So now, where did you come up with the name Craft Loft? Because that's a cool name.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree. I agree. The first time when we first opened, our name was not Craft Loft. It was something else that was much longer and not so easy to remember. I don't know. I think after we opened for maybe about a year, we knew that the name needed to have craft in it because that's how our customers would come in and use that word and ask about, do you have other crafts? Well, we love this, all the crafts that you do. So we knew that was going to be in there, and then it was just a question of what else we put in front of it or behind it to make it into a name or a brand. I think it just popped into my head one day after thinking of lots of different names and also seeing if it's available online. That's also hard too. And that is not, being held by some holding company for
Oh
$10,000
yeah,
just to buy the
yeah.
name, So
It's the dumbest thing. Sometimes you
yeah,
do it because I have a web design company myself, and sometimes you do a search for domain, and it's not really super special, but it's one you like, and it's like, well, this is already taken. For $1,998
right.
you can own this. It's
Yeah,
like that's so easy. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll put a
Exactly.
dash in it, call it Craft Dash Loft.
That
I mean,
is
come on.
what we did exact. That's why the dash is in there. But the other reason I like the dash because it separates the words. And if it weren't separated, it might just take a pause to figure out what the words are. So actually, I think the
Yeah,
dash is a feature, ended up being a feature. Um,
that
yeah,
is
no,
true.
we wanted to rhyme somehow for it to easy to say, easy to spell. Yeah. Yeah. So we came up with that and
So
it's
now,
been,
give us just a quick rundown of how many different crafts that people can come to a craft loft and learn how to do. Just
yeah. Oh my
ballpark,
gosh.
a bunch.
Well, we have over 100 and I have lost count exactly how many. So
Wow.
we're
See,
order,
that's a lot more than I thought it would have been. I thought you
yeah,
might have said, well, 15 to 20, but you said over 100.
no,
That's crazy.
we're order of magnitude more than what a typical creative location might have. Up until this point, we've seen the paint and sips, we've seen the board, making a board, wooden sign, ceramic painting, right? Maybe candle making, but those are very much single. And I've seen some multi ones that have maybe half a dozen, right? Like so we're really all about making crafting easier, making it easier for you to try different things. So that's always going to be a lot with
Well,
us.
and that's the one good example that I think that we may have talked about it, but people can learn how to start a craft without going out and buying all the supplies like me when I started doing acrylic painting, and then determine it's like,
Exactly.
well, do I have a gift for this? Do I want to pursue this? Or maybe they'll decide, God, I love this, and they find they've got a gift for it, and then they
Right.
know that with confidence they can go buy the supplies and they can buy them from you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, also, take acrylic painting as an example. You could do a small painting, but still need 20, 30 colors. And what are you doing with those colors when you're done if you don't get back to it on a regular basis? So we built up all this potentially wasteful purchase, right? But you don't want to get rid of it because it could be used again. It's not trash, but now it's still sitting there and you're not using it. So we make it real easy. There's no excess. We do the setup, we do the cleanup. We're also there to support you. Our walk-in activities are really fun too. You can just come in anytime. You can order different crafts off of a menu and then do something different with your friends, family at the same table.
I
We're
think that would be so funny. Just say for
yeah.
some Australian guy to come in and say, "I'd like to sling some paint on a canvas if you don't mind. If you got something like just splash a bit of the down under on a piece of canvas, if you could."
I've not heard that yet, but maybe
You
soon.
never
You
know.
could come and
You
do it.
never
Now I
know.
have heard of it just
Yeah,
yet.
that's right.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
So your primary location, about how many square feet did you say it is?
Our flagship is like 4,500 square feet, which I know is pretty big as far as space goes. I don't expect that our franchise locations will be that big. For our second location, we're looking at something around 2,500 plus minus a few
Now,
hundred.
what I understand a mall is a good location in some, not every case, but in some cases, depends on the mall traffic. But what types of locations could they do? Could they do like a warehouse style building? Would that work and just build it out or?
I think it depends on where that warehouse is.
Right.
I would imagine that we do much better in a community-driven location. So think
No,
Main
I'm not. No, I'm
Street.
not talking about like
No.
a warehouse per se. I'm talking
Okay.
about some office buildings are kind of designed with that warehouse kind of look and feel to them. They're not necessarily huge places, but in other words, they choose metal siding because it's cheaper than wood and what have you. But I'm just saying you're flexible on the type of building as long as the
Oh,
location's right.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. As long as we have, air conditioning and access to water and like what good lighting, it's fine. The shell of the building doesn't matter as much to us.
There you go. That's the right way to put it.
Yeah.
So now you just became a franchise officially here in the last month or so, right? Or a couple
Correct.
months?
We're very new, very much new, emerging. But timing is great. That means all the locations
Yes.
are open. You'll have amazing attention from our team to make sure the first few locations are successful.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what I
Yeah.
love about what you do is that, hobbies are a big thing, especially in this country, especially in this day and time that we live in. And of course, with COVID, you're not too far behind us. But your type of business is the kind of business I think that would attract more people because creative hobbies, because a lot of people, according to research, what I've heard, a lot of people, about 25% of people out of 100% that start a hobby maintain it. But because you have so many under one roof, that just increases the likelihood you're going to get more business from people who are experimenting, like we talked about with new crafts and stuff. So,
Yeah, and I would say majority of folks like to try different things because trying a new
yes.
hobby is fun. Just doing different things is fun. So we make that easy. I would say our focus also is on the older side, so tweens and adult learners, more so than strictly kids. We are family friendly, so if you're a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old comes in, there's something for them to do as well. But the older you are, the more you can do. Take the example of wood burning or tufting. You're using somewhat hazardous materials if you're not being careful. So those will be examples, right? And I feel like there's a ton for creative endeavors when we're younger. But somehow as we get older, those things disappear. And so that was something that I wanted to create and offer too.
Marge, you're going to have to take that flamethrower away from little Timmy. I don't think it's
Yeah.
safe for him.
Yeah, exactly. We do have
He,
liability waivers, but still, we want to
he's wood
minimize the
burning his
risk.
sister. I just don't think that's a good idea.
No, we do have minimum age requirements on some
That's
activities, and
funny. That's funny.
stick to
All
it.
right, so
Yeah.
let's talk about the franchise side of things. Let's talk about cost, and like who is your ideal franchise candidate? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah. I would say at the beginning, we're looking for an owner operator, somebody who is a real people person who likes to make things, who can roll up their sleeves, who's also good at organizing, right? Because when you have a lot of craft supplies, it's a
Hmm.
fair amount to keep track of.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that would sum it up. And obviously, you need to have some financial ability as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so now let's talk about the cost. So the franchise fee, what's the monthly royalty, all in investment range, that sort of thing.
Sure. So our franchise fee is 50,000 and our royalty is 6%. There's also an additional, I believe, 1% for marketing. And our we recommend having 250,000 for investment.
Okay.
It
And
really
then,
depends a little bit on the build,
right. Yeah,
whether
it's always the build
things are
out
ready to go.
is
Yeah.
creates the,
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing that creates the range of investment is how much the build out is.
Correct. Yeah. And I would say for us too, we have a nice snack and beverage component. So, given the location that you're in, if that's going to be real nice to have, then, that's where your build out may be a little bit higher. For where our first location is, we're right above the food court in the mall. So, it doesn't make sense for us to do any kind of snacks there. But for our second location, we're very much doing that.
Right.
Because like when I'm crafting, I want to have a cup of tea. I want to
Sure.
have a cookie. It's all part
Yeah.
of the wellness and the treat that we're providing.
Yeah, that is cool. Now you do also do out of store events too, so that's another
Yeah.
income stream for the franchise owner, which I think is great.
Yes, so our model is very much multi-stream for revenue. Not only do we do in-store events as well as workshops in the walk-ins and retail, we also do off-site events. So what that means is a company might say we're going to have a celebration, year end right now is sort of holiday time, so we're real busy booking those. They want us to go to them where they're going to be celebrating. So we do that. Another fun thing around this is that once you sign on as a franchisee, you can immediately start to collaborate with your local beer hall, the brewery, the bookstores, other fun retail locations. Until your location is ready, you can still do workshops elsewhere and start to collect your newsletter signups and so on. So, and it's also a great way to practice doing hosting in the events that we run. So you don't have to wait till your doors are open before revenue can be had.
Think, and I don't know if you've considered this, but I think it'd be a really cool idea, maybe not to start out with, but it could be. But since you do those on-site events like that, if you had like a cargo style van that was wrapped with the craft loft,
A
that
mobile
would be,
unit.
yeah, I mean, that would be so awesome, and on the vehicle itself, on front, back, and it's not front, sides and the back, it says, craft loft, bring the fun to you, something like that,
Oh
that'd be a
yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool idea.
We
I
have
mean,
thought of that. It hasn't come into fruition yet, but it's definitely something to think about.
yeah, I mean, because you can make it really colorful, and I think even in today's market, I think to get a really good wrap on a vehicle is under $5,000. But I
Hmm.
mean, look at the advertising you get from it. Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yeah.
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 Um, and another cool
Great.
idea, I don't know if you
It
guys have done
is.
this.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Todd.
yeah, you're welcome. Another cool idea I think would be, if you've done it or if not, but I'm forward thinking here, but if you sponsored like a craft fair where you were the primary sponsor, your franchisee could do this too. And then, you pick, like a really good location, and then you bring in all these different crafters, but, Craft Loft is the primary sponsor, you know what I'm saying? Then, of course, you could showcase your own business and events there too. That would be a cool idea.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, people who are shopping at the craft fairs are most likely crafters themselves to some degree,
Yeah,
just not as expert as the ones that are selling. Yeah,
yeah.
that
I,
makes
I
sense.
think I think what your business, what I love about it is like Hobby Lobby meets crafting. I don't know how to say it, but um, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because not you go to Hobby Lobby to buy crafting supplies, but to your business, you go to buy the same types of supplies. But while you're there, there's over 100 different crafts that you can learn how to do. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got you thinking, don't I? Got them wheels turning. See, now listen, you're listening to the Franchise Flashlight podcast on Franchise Radio, and we are actually doing this on Zoom. So Jen and I can see each other, but you can't see what I see. I see an entrepreneur who is sharp, and her mind is spinning like 1,000 miles a minute. She's like, I'm liking these ideas. Now, how can I incorporate this?
More things on the to-do list
Yeah,
now, I
that's
think.
just
But
what
no,
you
they're
need.
great, for
Yeah,
sure. They're
That's
great.
what you, well, the great thing about Zoom that I love is the fact that it gives you that AI recap as soon as the meeting's done. And the first time I ever saw that, I was amazed. I was like, God, this is so precise and so well structured. And I mean, even the spelling was perfect, just about the first one I saw. And that's something that AI, that's one of the great weaknesses that I've noticed from a design standpoint is AI doesn't spell very good in most cases, in most cases. All right, so we talked about the ideal franchise owner operator, preferably to start with somebody who is a hands-on type person, good people skills. So we talked about the all-in investment. Ideally, they'd want to have about 250,000. One thing I want to point about this franchise opportunity that's great. It's in the mid-range as far as the all-in investment goes, but what's great about it is that you don't have to get food permits and you don't have to buy kitchen equipment and you don't have to like building out a restaurant and then having to hire staff of waiters or whatever to start the business. I mean, it's just a matter of finding the right location, building it out, and then bam, you can open your doors.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's also real flexible. The way that we have built it out as far as the training goes is we have this great library of content where, when you first open your doors, you don't need to be offering all the 100+ activities.
Right.
We don't offer all of it at all times, right? Like we're cycling through based on the season, based on what's trending, what's interesting, what people are asking for. And so you can pull what is good for your local community and for what you're able to do at that moment. So, and I think anytime when you bring in a new one, new to your customers, you could be real familiar with it, but when you're ready, you can offer it, right? So, I think it's great from that flexibility perspective too. You don't have to be doing all of it all at once at the beginning.
Right. Now, and another thing that's great too is like you said, is that if they buy the franchise while they're in the process of finding that location, building it out, you're ready to open. If they're really aggressive and hustle, and this is their full-time gig, I mean, they can really get out there and sponsor a whole bunch of on-site events and make some really good money in the
Yep.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say, we're talking about owner operator. For a multi-unit operator too, this has some good dynamics in it. You'll be able to have higher profitability because for some of the equipment, you can cycle it through different locations. So like say our sewing machine.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
have to do sewing in all locations all at the same time. So you can have your sewing machines travel to wherever your workshops are. So that
Have sewing
saves
machine will travel. That's
yeah,
correct.
I mean, it saves your initial investment for the locations that you bring on later.
That's right. Just
Yeah.
like that chainsaw you use to do the stump carving, hey, we'll take that to location B. We're not using it over here.
We're not doing that one yet. That I think you do need more
I'm
space.
totally kidding. Yeah, totally
And,
kidding.
and keeping in mind, most of our crafters are beginners. So we want to put them in a place where it's not too dangerous for beginners.
Oh my God, that's great. So now let's talk about. So we talked about locations. Now let's talk about employees. Like, let's give the franchisees an idea of what number of employees they might hire or need to have to run their locations, and then also, is it plausible or do you hire specialists to do teaching for the different types of
Mhm.
crafts?
Yeah, yeah, all great questions. I would say you need at least one full-time either store manager or assistant store manager if the full-time if the store owner is not a full-time person. So you need one full-time person at least to be there and then the rest of the team can be committed part-time employees. For us, most of our part-time employees are working 2 to 3 days a week. So I would say, 20 to 30 hours, if you will. I find when you go too much lower than that, they're not there enough to pick up the latest, and then they're always like behind everybody else. So you kind of want to have them be there more regularly than not. In terms of who you hire, so I would say right now, when we open up a job posting, we get 60, 90 applications in a day, which
Wow.
is amazing. It's a good place to be. I think craft store is just a fun place to be to work. It's
Yeah.
we have folks who have regular corporate jobs who want to get a part-time gig at our store. We're like, well, you don't quite have the availability that we need. So maybe just come in
You're
and
working 80 hours a week, man.
craft. Yeah, but there's actually a lot of, very talented artists, also hobbyists who are great at what they are doing. What we're doing usually with our team is let's see what they already know how to do. If they already know, if they already know how to sew, how to, crochet, knit, or what have you, let's get them doing those events first, right? And
Yeah.
they can pick up the other things as they work with us. And we certainly do train everyone on as much as we can. Sometimes schedules don't work out that for them to train on a particular thing, but everybody comes in and end up picking up new skills. And the vice versa happens too. We'll have somebody who's really good at block printing, and we're like, well, let's see what we could do for the next level of block printing workshops. So it's been really fun for me personally to it's very easy for me to pick up new skills, new crafts, just working with our team, and also see what everybody makes when they come into our space.
Well, to put it plainly, you have a creative career, and who would enjoy that? If they've got a creative personality. I mean, now let's talk about marketing. So, what I'm sure you currently probably use all the different social media platforms to do your marketing, like uh, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
We're
you're
more focused on Instagram at the moment.
right.
Yeah, because who knows who's buying TikTok next? I don't know.
Well, what I like about there's a lot I don't like about TikTok, but the one thing I do like about it is there are some good uses for it, and definitely like your crafting events. I mean, those would be awesome to do little TikTok blurbs on. Instagram obviously is a lot more. Probably Pinterest. I imagine, to use that at all, or
Not as much. I mean, so something that we keep in mind is that right now we're geographically mostly focused on the East Coast and Boston specifically, right? So a lot of these platforms are pretty national. So yes, we could be very popular on TikTok and spend a lot of money and time on it, but what percentage of those users and followers are going to be in a place that's close enough to come visit us, right? So I think we're focused more on things that'll be more locally relevant. And with Instagram, there are local influencers and so on. So that's kind of where our strategy has been. Certainly, when we develop more of a national presence, our strategy is going to evolve to reflect that too.
right? Yeah. Um, and then, so when a new franchisee comes on board, they will be added to your current website as a new location.
Correct. Yeah. And we will continue to our strategy is to have one voice from the brand. So we'll continue to have one Instagram account that will be our brand account. But we do encourage franchisees to have their own newsletters and localize it to their own schedules and so on.
And then, so what percentage of your revenue would you say comes from actual sale of products from the
Mhm.
store? And then what percentage comes from the actual crafting events themselves?
Yeah, yeah. I would say the events piece is less predictable because it's very spiky. Everybody does events in the holiday time, and then other times it's a smattering here and there. So it's kind of hard to, it's a significant amount, but depending on the month, it could vary a lot. In terms of our in-store revenue, our retail and our workshops are about the same, and our walk-in is picking up. And I would say during holiday times when we will be running sales, retail is going to overtake the workshop piece. Um, I mean, it totally makes sense, right? Workshops, walk-ins, those are activities that take time. So when folks are really trying to cram in their holiday shopping, retail is going to be where they go instead of workshops. But
Right.
they'll buy gift cards, they'll come in later in January and February. We see folks in April who are using their gift cards.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
and
nice.
well, the other great thing too is that when all those folks coming in for those workshops, I'm certain you're going to sell a certain percentage of products just right on the spot, just because some of them are going to love what they're doing and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I want to buy some acrylic paints," or "I want to buy some thread to
Mhm.
crochet," or
Yeah,
whatever.
where do I get
Yeah,
more of this? And So we'll make recommendations. They also get a discount when they're in for a workshop. So there's additional incentive to shop then too.
Do you have a loyalty program where they get discounts if they make so much, spend so much money, or?
Not yet, but I think with the snacks and the beverage, we will start that. Well, we do have our memberships. So with our walk-in studio, there's the pricing is that there's a studio fee and then whatever crafts you do. And the studio fee is based on how many folks come in and how long you stay for. So if you have a family of four coming in and you work on one craft together, the studio fee is for the family of four, and then you just pay for that one craft, right? So it's pretty flexible of a pricing model. The membership would waive the studio fee. And in my opinion, is a really great deal because you only need to come in like more than once to make that membership worthwhile.
Is
And
it, is
also
it, is the
being a member
membership
gives you
fee annual or monthly?
monthly and you can cancel anytime. And with the membership, you get discounts on workshops and other purchases as well.
So how much is the monthly membership fee?
So we have two tiers. One is for an individual member. At the moment, it is 25 per month. And the group membership is for a group of five, and that's 49 a month.
That's not bad. Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
no, it's not. It's not. It's really great. Given
Well,
that you
that's
come
good.
in and use our
So
sewing machines and tools, all
yeah,
that.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, it sounds like you've got a really great business model and something that somebody with the right get up and go could really just come out of the block and do really good
Yeah,
with it. And you know, like I said, me being a creative person, you know, I mean, I do graphic design, I do acrylic painting, I do my own comic strips. So that's one thing I love. I love colorful, creative things. You know, bright colors are great.
that's
Um,
great.
you know, and plus it's a business that appeals to all age groups, you know, from children all the way up to seniors. Um, well, Jen, again, you're listening to the Franchise Flashlight Spot podcast series on franchiseradio.net. We're talking to Jen Gouldstone. She is the founder of Craft Loft, and it's craft-loft.com. There is a link there for the franchise information. Jen, what is the preferred method for someone who's interested to reach out to you for more information or to start the process to become a franchisee?
Yeah, I think the easiest is to email us directly at hello@craft-loft.com, or you can also go to our franchise site and fill out the little form there, and we'll get right back to you.
That's great. That's a good email address. Hello at craft-loft.com. I never thought of that. I should have. I own like 42 domains or more. I should have thought of that sooner, but that's cool. Well, Jen, it has been a pleasure. Anything closing comments you'd like to make before we finalize everything here today?
Oh yeah, gosh. I would thank you very much for having me here. I think we're very excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Jen Gouldstone from Craft Loft, the website craft-loft.com. The franchise link is on there. If you are interested in purchasing a franchise with this great company, like she said, you can shoot an email hello at craft-loft.com, fill out the form on the franchise link on their website. But it really sounds like an awesome business opportunity, especially for those of you out there who are creative and who love people. This combines the best of both worlds. So thank you for tuning in, Jen. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.